My name is Anthony Tone Show Nunez, and today I'm talking about Van Helsing Season 4, Episode 8, The Prism. Ooh! So before we jump into this one, make sure to do a little bit of housekeeping around here. Make sure to make that like button go like. Make sure to share this video so the Tone Show can grow. We can grow together. This episode right here, I gotta talk about it. There's some things I want to discuss. The Prism, directed by Alexandra LaRoche, and it's written by Jonathan Lloyd Walker. This is episode 8. There's only 2 more episodes left of Van Helsing before the end of the season. Can you believe it? So the Prism is probably talking about Jack and Violet and how basically our evildoers use them as basically like a looking glass, a mirror to connect between each other, two equal sides. So that's probably what they were talking about when they said the Prism. This is the first episode I would say where we didn't have any of our main characters. We didn't have Axel. We didn't have Vanessa. So all the weight of carrying the episode in this one was definitely on Jack and Violet. Now, Jack was captured by the mother of the sisterhood, the Oracle, and she was also being held by Hansen. So all the vampires basically had a hold of Jack. They were using her to spy on Violet, trying to find out where they have the hidden pages. Now, these 3 hidden pages were hidden behind a painting we found out that Hansen had in his office. Now, this painting has such a story. It used to hang in the home of Jacob Van Helsing. That's right, Jacob Van Helsing, who we knew as an elder, who we visited in last season with Scarlett and Vanessa, who was being held. He was an elder. We don't know exactly how he got turned to the dark side. Well, this episode revealed it for us. He was turned by none other than Hansen, but Hansen's human name is Willem. So Willem was actually under the tutelage of the Van Helsings. So Jacob Van Helsing held him in high esteem, and then he was turned by the Dark One. It looks like we didn't see the actual actress who plays the Dark One. We just saw the dark fog, right? Straight out of Lost. So we're assuming that was the Dark One who turned him. So Willem is actually Hansen today, right, in present time. And Hansen went back, and he's the one who turned Jacob Van Helsing. So he's the one who turned him into a vampire, and he ended up being an elder. What I find really interesting is that we found out in this episode that Hansen all along has had the 3 pages which could be used to create a weapon to finally vanquish the Dark One for good. Now, this made me then realize, like, wait a second, Hansen has either been playing a very long game or he's always been faithful to Jacob Van Helsing and Abraham Van Helsing's mission. So which one is it? We know that Hansen loves choking people out, as we've seen before when he choked out that scientist at the mountain and when he choked out Julius. So he loves choking people out, and he definitely ate the administrator of Black Tech. So he's definitely evil to some extent. He's definitely in the evil camp. Let's check that off. But also, he might actually be hesitant to go full vampire. Maybe there's a part of him that actually does love Jack and Ivory. Remember, the words he used was an heir and a spare. So did he create these 2 babies, these 2 baby Van Helsings, to raise them because he wanted to be a father? Did he really fall in love with these 2 children and he raised them and protected them this long because he actually cares for them, not because he's using them as an evil ploy to free the Dark One? That's what it looks like. This episode, basically, he turned on the Oracle, and he turned on the mother of the sisterhood. And we saw that all this time he's been holding the pages in the back of this painting, which used to hang in the house of Jacob Van Helsing. So this painting has the pages behind it all along. Hansen has had the pages all along. And it really beckons the question, why did Hansen then actually create the Daywalkers? Maybe he created the humans with the power of regeneration so humans could actually fight the vampires. So this really put the whole idea on its head of why he created these humans that could be extra strong and regenerate. Maybe he did not create these humans to be a food supply for vampires who couldn't be killed off easily. But it also beckons, why did he create the Daywalkers? Did he create the Daywalkers and to challenge regular vampires? Was he at one point trying to rid himself of regular vampires and take control? It really opens up the question, what's been the long game? What's Hansen really up to since he betrayed the Dark One to some extent because he held on to the pages that they've been searching for all along? So we don't know what Hansen's MO really is. Is he really an undercover human still? Does he really care for the human race? He's really trying to fulfill the Van Helsing's destiny? Or is he trying to take over and build a superhuman of Daywalker so he can take over the Dark One and be basically the head vampire? We don't know, but definitely it opened up a curiosity box about Hansen. We saw that Jack and Violet, they basically had to carry this episode by themselves. Violet was alone. I find it really interesting and kind of weird that she was able to take on Ivory and Scab all by her lonesome. Her boyfriend wasn't much help. Come on, let's be honest. So we saw that Ivory and Scab were able to take down Denver themselves, right? And they're basically immune, we saw already, to small arm fire because they were able to take down Denver with some vampires right from the Sisterhood. And basically, when they were shot with small arms, and even with those poisonous bullets, they were able to regenerate, continue on. They devastated Denver. They took over. So I find that very weird and kind of like off-brand for Ivory, who's a powerful vampire we've learned, and Scab, who's basically, he beat Julius. Julius is a hand-to-hand combatant, and Julius was able to kick Violet's butt. So if Julius could kick Violet's butt and he's training Violet, and Scab was easily able to defeat him at Denver, how is it that Violet's able to defeat Scab? That didn't make any sense to me. How could she take on not just Scab but Ivory? I don't buy this. That Violet was able to take on Ivory and Scab, and basically she Home Alone them. They were basically incompetent. Like they were like the thieves from Home Alone, right? So this was a tough episode. Was it? I would say this is not one of my favorite episodes, honestly. I feel like we needed one of the elder characters around to at least like level the playing field and also like bring that gravitas that we've learned. I think Julius would have been great in this episode. Like Julius should have been brought into this episode to mentor Violet. And I felt like a lot of pressure was put on Violet and Jack to carry this episode the way the episode hit. And I just can't say that that's because of the writing or the acting, but how everything came out together, it was kind of a slow episode, honestly. And I'm hoping that in the next episode we pick up with our regulars. So what did you think of this episode? Do you think it was too easy for Violet to defeat Ivory and Scab? Put it in the comments. And as always, guys, this is the Tone Show. Make sure to hit me with a like. We only got 2 more episodes of Van Helsing. Like I said, let's get that Renew Van Helsing Season 5 going. Definitely put in the comments how you feel about the season so far. We really got 2 more episodes. Can you believe it? And as always, guys, this is the Tone Show. Tone Show. Ah, woo.